Alright, so today we're going to review the Halo TV series. I just finished watching it last night, and I must say I greatly enjoyed it. I am someone who has played the games, at least I've played Combat Evolved 2, 3, and 4. I've done most of 5, and I've played some of Reach at a friend's house. So I am pretty familiar with, the universe and the characters and all of that, and the mechanics and the plot. So that is the perspective from which you will hear today's review. Um, just this, the entire first season, full spoiler, and I will address some of the uh, praise and criticism from other people of the series that I've seen as I've watched the series. I've watched, other people reacting to it and giving their thoughts. And I have some criticisms of their criticisms. So, first things first, I'm just going to say I'm glad that this season wasn't them just playing the game back at me. Because, in my opinion, if you want to have the game played back at you by a series, just play the actual game instead. The purpose of a TV series, it allows for you to do more and different things than the game alone does. And I read on the Wikipedia page for this TV series that they're apparently doing it similarly to how the MCU adapted the Marvel comics, and that it doesn't do all the same things with the story that the comics did. It goes its own direction, but it uses the same characters and elements in achieving it. So I'm actually pretty cool with that, and I really enjoyed what I saw this season. So first off, Chief taking off his helmet in the first episode and that being a thing the Starnes did, I'm fine with that. And you know why? It's because in the game, part of the reason that the Chief never takes his helmet off is so that people who play the game can project themselves into the character. I think that's really the main reason why the game works like that. And so when you're doing the TV series, it makes the characters more approachable. You're better able to connect with them if you see their faces. So I strongly approve of and support what they did with the Spartans this season. Let's see. One common praise that I agree with was they said the action sequences they did have this season were very well done. I absolutely agree. They got the mechanics of the game pretty well in there, actually. They had very good quality acting and production with all of that. And this just beyond the action scenes as well, I guess I'm straying into. I think most of the actors brought their good game to it, so to speak. And there were a few funny jokes like that that other people pointed out. Like, I know how the game is played, Cortana. That's an obvious self-aware joke for the show. That was pretty funny. Yeah, and just using the weapons the way they did, it was all good. Of the 4 Spartans, I'm going to say the guy, the Chief, obviously did really well in the center stage. I really liked Kai personally. She's kind of growing on me as a character, and I didn't want anything to happen to her. So, when they did the very brief, did she die in the Pelican explosion at the? Well, it wasn't a Pelican, but you know what I mean. The ship where she's trying to catch Halsey in the last episode. I was like, oh no, but she made it, of course. So I was glad about that. People have liked Vanek as well for his approach to the role of the Spartan, and I'd say he's captured some of that pretty well. I absolutely agree. I would have to say Riz is the one that they need to flesh out more, that they need to give more characterization to. It's not that I don't think the actress who played her did well with what she was given and could do more if she is given more. They need to give her more time. They didn't really give her as much of a connection with the audience as they did for Chief Kai and Vanek. Uh, so they need to improve on that. The Covenant, they didn't give us any interesting Covenant characters. Like in the game, they actually have interesting Covenant characters like the Arbiter and Tartarus. And in the books as well, I've also read some of the accompanying books for the series, and so I know where some of the additional material they're drawing on comes from. They had some additional Covenant characters that were fleshed out. The only one they gave any thought to was Maquis, who of course is not even a member of the Covenant species, so they need to give some more development to Covenant characters as well for the good portrayal of the opposition. And also another thing with Maquis, I was actually quite fine with, Chief getting some with her at that one point in episode 8, because the game is, just it does have a good plot where it has one, but it's not really focused as much on all the relationship stuff. It does at some point, but you're mostly fighting. So where the TV series can use its opportunities like that, that's fine by me. And by the way, I ship Kai and Chief. I wonder how many other people think the same way. So it's not that. Well, actually, I mean, Bucky did some messed up stuff, so I can't say entirely true that I don't dislike her. I dislike her a bit. So I was like, good job, Kai, when she offed her in the last episode. Although, obviously, Bucky was duped as well. So, hope she's no longer duped anymore. Yeah, so we're going to see where all of that leads with Chief hopefully getting his mind back, which others have said I'm sure he will. Yes, I just put my Mega Bloks figures there to, get into the mood of the video, as I so often do when I have props. Yeah, just Master Chief and Arbiter there. I don't have that many Halo Mega Bloks sets, actually. So there they are. And in fact, the way Arbiter is dressed in this minifigure actually looks somewhat like the guards and that temple scene, the special guards. So that's kind of cool too. Also, I wanted to say for Quan, I didn't mention some of the people who are like bashing her storyline. I can understand that, but I thought that they did an okay job with some of it. It doesn't actually sink the series, and I actually don't dislike it all in some of the ways that they do. It provides some extra universe building. I will admit that the point with the Desert Mystics thing, it seemed like it was straying into like Dune territory there. So let's try and keep it more original too, is what I'll say to the showrunners. But if they give her more and better roles, more and better writing, I guess they would actually make Quan likable and a good part of the series. And she does all right sometimes with what they did give her, like in the fight in episode 7 where she put the plasma grenade onto one guy. That was actually rather hilarious. And it's just like when if you're killing Marines for fun in the game, they're like, get it off me. So it's like that. I don't do that anymore because I haven't actually played in number of months because, busy with college, busy with life. But when you do get to do that stuff, it's pretty funny. Um, and yeah, and I think they, for the other characters, like for Dr. Halsey, Captain Keyes, Miranda Keyes, Halsey, I think they especially got her essence well if you look at the material of the games and the accompanying books closely. No one with a heart who plays the game has much love for Dr. Halsey, so I'm fine with them having her be in a kind of antagonist and dislikable role. Um, Captain Keyes, the guy who played him, I thought he did a fine job. Um, and frankly, people complaining about and I'm going to stray into here, people who complain about having actors, different ethnicities, races, play ones who are different in the source material. I mean, that's completely fine, because it's like, unless the plot of a thing specifically revolves around like a person's racial ethnic identity, you can frankly have anyone play almost anyone. So I don't see any grounds for legitimate complaint by people on that area. Like, I think the guy who played Captain Keyes, he's cool. Same thing with Miranda Keyes, that was cool. Um, and I know that she's like given a bit of a different role because she was military in the game and she's a scientist here, but for the purposes of the TV series, it's fine, and she did a good job fulfilling the role. So that's really what's important there. Yeah, and also, of course, Jen Taylor, who voices Cortana in the games and for the app, she was obviously Cortana again in the series, did a fine job there. Um, and I hope they continue their A game with the second season, which there's been speculation by others on, like, they could be leading to the fall of Reach. That could easily be done if they're followed back. Also, going to Halo, it's possible to have like Master Chief goes to Halo with Keyes in the Pillar of Autumn while the rest of his team is fighting on a side plot somewhere else. That could be a doable thing for the next season. But I think if they even if they present the story a bit differently, they do need to retain some of the core elements. So they do need to have them get on to Installation 04. They have to fight the Flood. They have to meet Guilty Spark. That would be important. And let's see. Yeah, and to have, unfortunately, Keyes perish at the Flood's hands, that'll affect the series, but I mean, it's what happened in the game. So we'll see how they approach that, and Chief and Cortana getting away there, and maybe have the Arbiter come in as a character, because from the games, we know that the Arbiter was kind of in command of the Covenant fleet that approached Installation 04, and him being held responsible for the failure to secure it develops his character. So we'll have to see if they go with that. There's lots of ways this could go. I think I heard there's like a new showrunner for the next season, so we'll see what different ideas, different vision they bring to this project. But I'm very pleased with the show, and I hope it continues for a while. Certainly if they get this second season done well, just like I was pleased with this first one. And I know people want more action sequences, and in some ways I do want that too. But it doesn't have to be like every second of the show, because then it's just playing the game back at my face, and there's no point in that. So if they keep the action sequences of the same caliber the ones from this first season have been, it'll be very good. But yeah, just continue like that, bring that vision, and we'll see where this goes. So, good on Halo, and that's my thoughts for now. So, alright, have a good day, everyone,